Hi guys, my name is Christina and welcome to my channel, and in today's video I wanted to talk to you about backlogging pages for your comics or drawing your pages in advance and why I suggest you should do it and how I'm doing it. So yeah, let's get started. So first, what I mean by backlogging, I don't know if it's obvious because I don't know, English is not my first language and sometimes I wonder if I'm saying the phrase, is it obviously clear what I mean by this or not? Just in case, I'm gonna explain what I mean. I'm sure you guys all figure it out and they think, oh my god, this immigrant doesn't get it. What I mean by backlogging, basically I draw in my comic pages in advance way ahead before I publish them. I publish my comic once a week currently. I want to potentially switch to publishing it twice a week, but pages that I'm currently actually drawing are usually 80 pages ahead of what I'm actually posting. So I have this backlog, this buffer of around 80 pages, so like 2 chapters, a chapter and a half type of thing. Backlog space a little less for my Patreon because for my patrons I post pages ahead a little bit. So for my Patreon I post a month or like 5 pages ahead that I post for everybody else, but I'm actually 80 pages ahead. I hope it does make sense. And as I started doing this, I immediately realized a lot of benefits that it can bring, and I wanted to share it with you and suggest you try doing this for your comic creation process. First of all, why it is important for me to do this backlog is to reduce the feeling of anxiety, because I used to draw my comic originally almost like page to page. So I would draw a page and I would post it this week. I would finish and I would post it this week. Or for example, it would be 1 page ahead, but then eventually would catch up. That is a problem because I would be freaking out and I would be all focused on finishing this particular page. Whereas I could be, for example, jumping around pages and working on the consistency of the scene overall. No, I would be very focused on one page and I couldn't be like, oh, I really want to draw another page instead. I couldn't be doing it. I have to force myself to draw like this particular page, which I might be drawing slower just because I want, something different. My mind wants to draw something else in this scene, but I would force myself to draw even slower but this particular page. So also that would create a lot of anxiety because I would not be feeling like, oh my god, I'm so loving drawing my pages, I'm so enjoying it. I would still feel it, but also I would feel a little bit of anxiety. For example, I would be always thinking, well, I have to post the page this Thursday. Oh my gosh. And also it prevented me from being very consistent with my posting. For example, if I will be a little bit behind, I would post my page, for example, my posting date is Thursday, I would post it on the Thursday end of day. Or if I'm a little bit ahead, I would be able to post it in the beginning of Thursday. That would affect the stats or when I post it on a big websites and would affect algorithms. On a lot of platforms, algorithms prefer you to be very consistent on when you publish. And also my audience is all around the globe, and there is a certain time when my audience is more active during 24 hours of the day. And it's very beneficial to post in a specific time where I know my audience is looking. It's not like I'm posting and then nobody is watching and then in 5 hours they start picking up. I want to post when they are the most active. But I cannot control this if I'm freaking out on just posting the page on Thursday and finish it. This is the first thing. It reduces anxiety and it helps me have more control about how I post, help me to be better with the algorithms, be better with statistics and with accountability, and knowing that my readers always rely on when I post the page and they expect it. Another thing, it helps you to be ready for something unpredictable. For example, something happens, you're out of town, you're sick, God forbid, or something negative happened, also God forbid, but imagine, for example, something that disrupts your process. And then on top of worrying about something that is already disrupting your life, you'll be worrying about that you cannot deliver something. I think it goes within the previous point about anxiety and worry, but you're creating it for the times when you cannot deliver, but you still have this backlog to rely on. Another point that is very important for me why I'm doing this backlog thing is because comics, they're not like novels, especially, comics are not like novels. That's a genius phrase. Pinterest quote right away. What I mean by this is, whereas when you draw you don't draw a novel. When you write a novel, you, for example, have this time to write it and then you go and edit it. With something like long comic, like for example, my comic will take years. It will take decades to finish. It will take at least 20 to 30 years to complete my comic as my current speed. That's why I try to speed it up. But basically it will take time, and there is no way for me to really plan the story ahead because I understand that as the time goes, my priorities in life might change, my interest might change, and the point of my comic might change. It might transition into something else. It will always evolve old. There's no way that I'm like 27, 28-year-old can be like, this is what the story will be, and we'll be finishing the story in my 40s. I will be like, yes, this was genius idea that I came up when I was like twice my age. So I don't think it's gonna happen. So I'm not gonna, I have outline, but I don't have it super set in stone. If the comic evolves into something different, it grows with me and it grows with my audience. It's perfectly okay. So the problem that comes with this is not that I can write the whole thing and then go and edit. It's not gonna work this way. I have to kind of edit as I go, and whatever I put out is set in stone now and affects the story that's gonna go forward. So it's a little bit scary because you say it and you cannot take it back, you cannot change it. So this backlog also allows me to add some final changes that I realized later on. And actually this situation happened in the chapter 5. I had last scene and I decided to change it while I was drawing chapter 7. As I was drawing chapter 7, I actually was thinking a lot about the plot line, about the character from chapter 5. And I realized, you know what, she actually would behave differently in this scene and something different is gonna be happening. And it is very important. So because I had this backlog time, it was no problem for me to go and redraw chapter 5, because at this point I was posting the beginning of chapter 5. So I still had enough time to finish the last scene, and I spent maybe a month to redraw it, and it turned out just fine, and I'm very happy that I was able to do it, because otherwise I would be a little bit screwed. I would have to work around it. So I think the backlog is very important for that. The same, you can edit names, you can edit location, you can edit information that is pointed out, and I think it is very beneficial to have it this way. Also, again, with the nature of comic that is online comic, when you post and you see people's reaction right away, and at the same time you are drawing like 80 pages ahead, I think it's very helpful when you see your people's feedback to be not like less affected by it, but understand it from a bigger scale. For example, you post your page and, for example, some of your readers didn't get what is going on, and if you're only zoomed in on the same scene that as you're posting and you're working on just the very next page, you might be also affected by their comments. You will be like, oh my god, they don't understand, they don't get it, and I'm freaking out. Should I change everything? Should I explain it extra in the next page? What should I do? But when you're drawing pages ahead, you actually see already how this scene played out, how next scene played out, how next chapter played out, and everything, and you can see it, look at their comment and understand if you actually have a problem right now, or it's okay because they're totally gonna get it when the scene is gonna play out, or they're gonna understand it in the next chapter. Like, it will tell you, you will understand if it is a serious concern that your readers don't understand something or get certain impression that it's not exactly what you wanted. It is easier to understand whether it's concerning or not if you are a little bit zoomed out of the story and you look in a little bit on the scope of the story. And also I think it's very good from a marketing standpoint. For example, if you want to attract people to your comic, or you want to tease something from your comic, you already know what is coming in your comic. You know certain bits and pieces that are coming, or for example, you have new characters appearing later, you already have them actually drawn, so you can show them, so you kind of have this promotional material constantly. Or for example, for me, what I'm doing on Patreon, I have several tiers, and one of the tier I show people spoilery everything, so I literally show them drawing process or every page that I ever do. But I have a middle tier where I show people more like some sneak peeks still, but I'm not showing them spoilery, and the distance, the gap between where they are and where I am, helps to make them less spoilery, because I'm so far ahead, there's no way they can figure out what exactly I'm working on. For example, if I know that my character is going through the forest and she can potentially, either get in a dangerous situation in the forest, or she can get out of the forest and be fine, and my readers know that I'm literally drawing several pages ahead and that's it. If I'm drawing, like giving them a sneak peek, and they know that she's in the forest and she's looking concerned and scared, they know, they kind of can connect the dots and realize what is happening. But for example, now my character, well, she's in the forest. Actually, on this YouTube video I already drew what happened to her. Like, this YouTube is spoilery. What I'm trying to say is that now my character, for example, she is walking through the forest, but where I am drawing now, I have a scene where she is in the desert. So it's hard for people to understand, like if I put a sneak peek and I'm just showing her face and you see that you can figure out that she's in the desert or in some sort of like deserty location, people will have harder times to figure out what happened. So it's not gonna be extra spoilers, it's just gonna be, oh shit, I wonder how that, like what? I want to figure out how it's gonna happen, how it's gonna play out, and how we're gonna arrive to this point. So this is what I mean. It helps you to be less spoilery but still be able to share your process, because people don't have context for it. And by the time you will actually be approaching this scene, people probably not going to be remembered because I'm 80 pages ahead, which means I'm more than a year ahead. They're probably not going to be remembering that particular page that was alluding to the characters in the desert. So that makes it a little bit safer on this side. Another major benefit that I see from this is kind of what people who write novels have, is the ability to show those pages that you're working on to another person and just test drive them and see how they react to it. Before, I would be, for example, talking to my friends and I'd be like, oh, well, this and this happens and she reacts like this because she thinks like so and da 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 da. So obviously I'm explaining the plot rather than showing how it plays out. And it's different because I'm showing them how I see it and they're like, yeah, that makes sense the way you see it. But when I show them, for example, the pages, like, well, it plays out a little bit different. Now they see the actual product and they might not have extra information that I would otherwise tell them. When you have an actually finished scene or finished chapter that, you know, you can actually show it to them and might get a little bit of feedback, like early feedback before releasing it to the general public. That's another point that I think is very important because usually with writing novels, you will have beta readers, you will have your editor who reads the story, somebody who will, you know, process it and read it through and give you feedback before you can deliver it to your readers. However, the comic that, you know, gonna last, like that you're gonna work on for years and years and years, it's not gonna happen. That's why I think it's very beneficial to have some banked pages and banked chapters to show other people. I'm probably not mentioning all the good reasons of why you should backlog your pages, but those are the main ones that I can think about right now. And I think a lot of comic artists that just starting, I think it might be very helpful for you if you start drawing your comic, but you bank some pages before start releasing it, so you have this buffer for like between you actually creating them and you actually releasing them. I think this is at least my reasons why I think it's very helpful for you, but you let me know what is your process and how do you like work with your releases or whatnot, because yeah, I think I started to actually draw faster and have way more fun drawing and creating my pages when I started banking them. Yeah, I hope this video is helpful and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I also hope that you're having a good day, and I hope you're gonna have a great day tomorrow and the next day up until my next video. So yeah, thank you so much guys for tuning in. I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you guys for watching.